Hi everybody, it's Claire from Handmade@Hudson's and thank you very much for pressing play on the video today. Today is another 5C celebration challenge, so we're doing birthday cards today. And in my last video, which is linked in below, I showed you how to make this, which is a gorgeous simple birthday card using the Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper. And I said that in the next video I would show you how to make these. I'm dropping them everywhere. So these are using the alternative papers to this. So this is cut at 9.5 and these are made with the scraps. However, I have discovered that Playing with Pattern Designer Series paper is retired, so I thought I would show you a different combination. So this is the card we're going to be making today, which uses the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. So this is actually a host or reward paper. So when you spend £150 on items from Stampin' Up, you get rewards and you can choose the paper as a reward. And there's 48 sheets of paper. So if you are watching this after May the 4th, there will be a video linked in below, which will show you all the papers. And it's a gorgeous combination of different colours. So if I show you, I have got the piece that we're going to cut down again so that you know what you need. Oh, here we go. So it is, and it's not that. Wait a second. So this is the piece that we're actually going to use, and if you look on the back, there is black and white patterns, which is quite cute as well, which you could colour in if you wanted to use that instead. So this is the sheet that we're going to use, and this is left over from a box that I have been playing with, which I haven't quite decided how I am going to close. So I will show you how to do that on a future video. And this holds a little bag of my favourite ribbon chocolates. So I will have to have a play with that. I haven't quite sussed out how to shut it, but I will show you how to do that in a future video. So this is one of the leftover pieces. So this is currently about nearly 6.5 centimetres. So I am going to cut this down into 2 centimetre strips and then 1 centimetre strips for the inside. So on the outside I am using Happiest of Birthdays, and on the inside I am using A Wish for Everything. Right, so before we start, I've got a strip of paper which I'm going to cut down, and it's 14.8 centimetres for all you metric fans out there, and then I'll cut it down to my size. I have got a piece of white, which is 8.5 by the length of your card. So for me it's 10.5, for everybody else it'll be 14.5, for everybody else it'll be 14.8. So the measurements for my metric, everybody else in the world's metric, and Imperial are linked in below, and they're also on my blog. So I've got a piece for the front. Now the sketch will show you that it should be 9.5 centimetres. This will work in any width, but obviously you need to fit the stamp set on. Any width up to about 7, I think, because these together will make a gap which is about 6.5. And then to stop the paper from folding, I've just got a piece of paper which will go in the middle of the card underneath, and that is the length of your card by about 6.3. And then I've got my normal card base, which is 29, scored at 14.5, and then it's by 10.5 centimetres, but as I said, measurements are below. Right, so the other things that you are going to need are Stampin' Right markers. So there are a number of colours which are officially in the papers, but I have discovered on this sheet there is Petal Pink, Floaty Flamingo, there's also Poppy Parade, but I'm not sure where my Poppy Parade Stampin' Right marker's gone. Somebody has stolen it. I keep on picking up Rococo Rose. Oh, wait a minute. No, Terracotta Tile. I seem to be picking up random colours rather than Poppy Parade. Anyhow, Pumpkin Pie, which is definitely not one of my favourite colours, and Granny Apple Green. Now, those 4 are officially in the papers. However, I do think that this stripe here is Bermuda Bay. So I have pulled out Bermuda Bay, although it isn't officially in the list of colours. So have a look at the papers and see what colours you think are in there. So I've pulled these out, and I have got out the Happiest of Birthday stamps here, and I have got the Happy Birthday from A Wish for Everything. So you can have a different combination of sentiments if you want, and also you could use any mini birthday sentiment. That's my own criticism of this Happiest of Birthday sets, that it doesn't have any little sentiments for the centre. Right, let's start by cutting this paper. So I'm going to get out my trimmer, I think. So I've got my trimmer. You can see my light, even though it's the middle of the day, it's quite dull in here today. So the first thing I want to do is to cut it down by 2 centimetres. So I'm just lining those up. Oh, and this is going to be a bit of a problem. Right, 2. And then I'm going to cut another piece at 2 centimetres. And then I have got an extra piece here, and I'm going to cut that at 1 centimetre. And to hold it in place, I'm just going to take a little bit of tape, stick that in the corner. And then I'm going to take that tape off carefully, and I'm going to put that in again to make it 1 centimetre again. So when finished, we've got a tiny piece, because this is about 6.5, and we have got 2 pieces which are 1 centimetre for the inside decoration, and 2 pieces which are 2 centimetres for, sorry, the inside decoration, outside decoration. This is going in my scrap pile to do with another card. So putting the card together is pretty simple, and I might actually do the stamping first, and I have forgotten to mention something. The other thing you'll need is a piece of paper which is 10 by 14 to go on the inside. So I'm going to do the stamping first. So for the inside stamping, I'm using the Happy Birthday, and I'm going to stamp this. Sorry, I'm going to colour this in Floaty Flamingo. So I'm just running across the top of the stamp with my Stampin' Right markers. Do not do this with blends, it will not work, and it will stain at your stamps. And then I'm just going to huff, and then I'm going to stamp my Happy Birthday quite close to the top. So then you just want to make sure that you clean your stamp off properly, because it's got some interesting colours on. So I have got my Simply Scrub stamping scrub and my stamping mist, and I'm going to give that a clean and dry, and it is perfectly clean. Woo! Right, okay, so that's that part done, and I'm going to stick that in a minute. And while I'm doing the inside, you can decide what you're going to do with the colours, the extra bits. So you could add it to the side, you can add it to both sides, you can add it to the top or the bottom, you could add it across the middle. I think today I'm just going to add it to one side. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to run it down the side. Now I tend to use liquid glue more than I use any of the other glues for a number of reasons. Me and Seal haven't quite learnt how to get on yet, but that's because I took a while to get used to views. Secondly, wet glue gives you a little bit of movement time. So if it isn't quite in the right place, you can wiggle it. And thirdly, if you get glue somewhere that you don't want it to be, then you can remove it with a adhesive remover. So I have a collection of these, and this is one of the reasons I joined Stampin' Up, apart from they don't sell them anymore, but you can get them from lots of different places. So I am going to just cut this down, and there I have my insides done. Right, so let's go on to the outside, and I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm just surrounding myself with junk again. So I'm going to move this out of the way and I'll bring that back in a minute. And I don't need that one. So we've got two pieces here. So I've got my card and I've got my two pieces of designer series paper, and I'm going to glue one and then do the second one. Might be easier if you open the card, and as I said, because I'm using liquid glue, it gives you a bit of wiggle room, but it also means that if you're not careful you can knock it as well. So let's add this second one. And again, I'm just going to line it up at the top and then line it down the sides and then check on the back. It's not too bad, just push it over a little bit. And then for the last piece, which is just to stop the middle piece from sagging, because you don't want a saggy middle or a saggy bottom, I'm just going to use this scrap of paper. So of course it could be any colour, it doesn't have to be white. And if I just stick that in the middle and then just pull it over at the bottom. There we go. So all we're doing is stopping the top piece from dropping, like so. Okay. So the last thing we need to do is to stamp the front and add it to the front, but we'll do that in a minute. So I've got my Wishing You the Happiest of Birthdays. This is definitely a stamp that you need the stamping scrub for because of the amount of loops, shall we say. And so I'm going to start off with the petal pink, and I'm going to draw on my stamp again. So as I said, I am using my Stampin' Right markers. You just want to make sure that it covers the whole of the part that you want to stamp, and please do not use blends. So I'm going to speed this up because you don't want to watch me do this, and I shall be back in a minute. Okay, so now it's all coloured up. The next thing you want to do is just check that it's all covered, which I think it is, and then just huff on it. to reactivate the ink. And then what I'm going to do is line up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp this in the middle. I'm going to press down, and there we have a multicoloured sentiment. Now I have noticed that my W isn't perfect, so if you want to, you can go back in with your markers and just correct any parts which are missing. So I might just fix my happiest as well. And of course, if you're on your Stamper Artist, you could just re-ink and restamp as well to give it a more crisp image. And I've just noticed my pumpkin pie needs correcting slightly. And then we're just going to add our outside on our inside, and I'm going to clean that in a second. So I am just going to add some glue. I'm going to line it up so there should be about a centimetre each side. So I'm just using the grid lines to line that up, and I'm lining it up at the top because the bottom I'm going to trim down. And then for the inside, I'm just going to take this again, and when I glue, I tend to glue around the edges and then down the centre like so. And I'm just going to pop that right into the centre of my card. And then I am going to take my mini trimmer. So this is my mini trimmer stroke guillotine, and I am just going to line up the edge of the card and take off the excess. And I'm going to take this out of the way. So let's tidy up a bit. Now you could add bling if you wanted to, but I personally think, given the busyness of the stripes and the different colours, that is fine, and you don't need any more embellishments on there. So there we go, that's two really simple, pretty birthday cards that are ready to go in my collection. And I think that they look really pretty. So obviously if you don't have the Stampin' Right markers, you can just use one colour in the middle for the wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And of course it doesn't have to be white in the middle. You could have any colour, so it could work with Pets Pink. I might have a play with that. So thank you very much for pressing play on the video. If you've got any comments, you can contact me, or if you've got any questions, you can contact me, claire@handmadeathudsons.co.uk. You can find me on the Tinterweb, Handmade at Hudson's. You can find me on Facebook, Handmade at Hudson's, and you can find me on Pinterest. So thank you very much for pressing play on the video. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also to ring the bell so that you're notified when I next upload a video. So as I've said before, I'm trying to upload on Thursdays and Sundays, and that seems to be working for me at the moment. We'll see how it goes. But thank you very much for pressing play on the video. All the items that I have used are linked in below if it's after the 4th of May. If it's not, then the papers aren't available yet, but I will change it then. See you later. Bye.